Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the newest edition of the Elite Podcast with returning guests Flemma, Creepy, and our newest guest, Foops. You might,
Hello.
yes, hello, Foops. You might know Foops from twitch.tv, Foops underscore underscore, who is a wonderful streamer with a fantastic beard and a beautiful blue background in Bulbasaur. We're thrilled to have him on board for today. But today we're talking about networking, and as I consider giving all of these people amazing props, they're in my network, and all of us are in each other's network, and that's something that we're going to be discussing is how important it is to quote unquote make a friend, start communications, which is just other synonyms for networking. It's actually easier than you think, but it's extremely important. So, a lot of people out there, a lot of quote unquote social media experts and marketing experts display networking as the end all be all for a successful streamer. It's not true, but it's extremely important that you understand that it's a foundation of being a successful streamer and content creator. Um, what I'd like to talk about first is how to network. So, what I would consider a good idea is looking at relevant content to yourself. So if you watch streams of people that you might connect with, so if you're a gamer streamer, you're looking at similar content, similar games, maybe you're a horror streamer, Flemma and I have similar interests in horror. If you speak with those people and develop a relationship to learn from them, it's extremely pertinent that you do so. But if you don't have the ability or the patience to search for yourself, you can kind of use tools like Channel Surf or other discovery tools to find people um, kind of related to what you're doing. So, for you guys, how do you find others that you would consider network worthy? Do you search on Twitch? Do you look on YouTube? Do you research, different types of websites, or do you use tools? I'm going to shoot this over to
Well,
Foops since you're brand new here.
okay. Well, I got extremely lucky because my friend, the Weeb, he introduced me to a community, and I just went in the community, started talking to people, and made friends there. I haven't really used any tools other than my friend, but I get what you mean. People that don't have that type of person to direct them towards a place to network, it would be much harder.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I think that a big thing that people miss is communities are extremely useful for networking. If you look at communities, even like ours, the Elite, we have so many different types of content creators and personalities for people to connect with, and you can also evolve yourself. Creepy. How about you? When you was it a similar situation for you? Did you discover people by yourself? Did you have any kind of resources to help you?
I was playing a game and got talking to someone who it was like a multiplayer game. And I got talking to someone and I became friends with that person who was a streamer. I wasn't a streamer at that stage. Um, he then introduced me to a bit like Foops. He introduced me to a streaming community, and from there, then it went off. But it's very much sort of the similar thing of like Foops. First, you have the friend, and then you get into the streaming community because beforehand I didn't even know anything about streaming or Discord communities or anything like that. So
Hmm.
it's always helpful to have someone who's already in it to show you the way.
Yeah, I had a similar situation with somebody from work that gave me so much pertinent info after we developed a little friendship over something relatable. Flemma, how about you? How did you kind of start networking? Where did you learn about it, and how did you get into finding others like-minded?
So I was actually completely different to all of you guys who seem to have a very similar situation. I joined a few groups on Facebook. I basically just searched like Twitch and like Twitch streamers and just kind of like generic things. I joined a few groups from there. The only problem with some of those groups was they're quite big, so networking there is quite hard. Like you have to be, I don't know, to start off in a bigger community can be quite hard. But through that, someone posted about their smaller community, um, who is actually at the time run by he's changed his name so many times. I know him as Gilo. But yeah, so and it was basically a love of retro games. So that's why I joined that community. And I kind of went from there. And I was within that community for a long time. And it was quite nice because it was relatively small and then it grew. And that's how I eventually found this community as well, because of, again, mutual friends, because of networking. So it works, guys.
Yeah, it does. It segues to very, very personal relationships that could evolve into great professional kinships, and it could help you all. Um, Outside of Twitch, though, something I wanted to recommend is you can network pretty much everywhere. For example, if you're searching Twitter keywords that are relevant to you, you could find people there and develop a relationship. That's how, um, I've gotten certain relationships started was, via social media, subreddits related to what you do. So, like, for example, horror games, when they started my Resident Evil series. When I first became a YouTuber, I learned within the Resident Evil subreddit of what people wanted to see and how they wanted to see the game portrayed in a positive way with the comedy involved. Because you're looking for fans of what you're doing, but also people like-minded that are doing what you're doing. Have you guys used those tools? Have you guys used anybody? So anybody can answer this, like social media to develop a relationship with somebody related to what you do, or subreddits, or anything outside of Twitch or searching?
No,
No.
other than literally going into streams on Twitch that are related to
Yeah.
games that you normally play yourself and chatting to the streamers.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, that's what most people do. But definitely take that to heart. So whenever you're looking in social media, your keywords are extremely important to find people that are like-minded that can be involved. Like, for example, within our community or within your personal thing. So if you were to go to Microsoft Flight Simulator subreddit, creepy, you might find people that are willing to just chill with you and be in your streams a lot. And same thing with you, Foops. I remember, like, for example, when you were playing Maneater, there's a subreddit. Like, there's a subreddit for everything. I don't care what it is. Bulbasaur plushies. There's a subreddit. So, you could do so many things to find people like-minded. And another tip that I would give is, within how to network is when you're doing it, I had to learn from the get-go, and luckily I started doing this from the get-go, is to make sure you humble yourself, lower your pride, speak to those better than you or on your level, and develop relationships to learn from them. So when you're talking to certain people, you got to make sure that you're forging a relationship that is going to be important to you, but you also have to do it in a way that is respectful to them and their time, because time is the ultimate currency. If you've got a relationship started with somebody who's, much bigger than you have the potential to learn from them, but also be reminded that they don't owe you anything. They're, on your level in terms of a human being, but they're better than you at what you're doing. So just take it as an opportunity to listen. Absolutely. Have you guys ever been in a boat where you have found yourself starting a friendship with somebody who you maybe felt scared of at first, that intimidated you? Oops, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you doing that.
Yes.
Who? Can you give me an
Kaiser.
example? Kaiser,
Kaiser.
awesome.
When I first joined that first community that I was talking about, Kaiser was in charge of it, and like I was in his streams a few times, and I was talking to him on his streams. But when you first meet me, I'm a very shy person,
Oh yeah,
and I was like scared to death of just being that weird out there person. But everyone's a bit weird.
yeah.
So you just got to find those people that have the same weirdness as you,
That's pretty much true.
which ended up which ended up being everyone here,
Mm-hmm.
along with
What
Kaiser.
what did I say to you, Foops, the first time you came to my stream that
I
got
don't know
you
what
hooked?
you said to me, but the first stream I was ever in of yours, I think I said something along the lines of, well, he's a very sexy leprechaun.
Because I'm Irish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I probably gave you some sort of lewd answer back, and then that's how it set off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I would say the same as well. Kaiser was the first person streamer who I was intimidated by hugely.
Mhm.
Still am to this day.
Yeah.
Same.
Intimidated by you hear him coming down the hallway with his little wooden shoes. Creepy. Creepy.
Da-da.
Dead.
I'd like to see Kaiser and Creepy write a book together. I don't think it'd be understandable, but it'd be so expensive for some
It would
reason.
not make no sense. The English would just be horrible.
So valuable. How about you, Flemma? Did you have that experience too?
I had the same experience. So, like, I wasn't scared of him, but I think I found his stream for another streamer, and I seen obviously that he was quite popular. I saw that I think it was the fact that he was a partner. I think that was one of the things. I saw that tick and I was like, oh fuck, like this guy's like a big deal. So yeah, I was definitely intimidated because, like, maybe you've got different levels of partner, obviously. So you've got those that are like absolutely huge, but then you've got those that maybe don't have like as big a following, but obviously if they got partner status, it's obviously unique and good. So yeah, I mean, I think it was that. It was seeing that he was a partner. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like it was a bit intimidating, but not like in a really bad way. And I'm like, I'm the same as Foops. I was nervous. Like before I meet Broadpool, I'm also very shy and nervous. I was like, and timid. That's why when I actually joined the Discord, I remember guys in Creepy said she wasn't like this when we spoke to her. Like she's fucking weird. What the hell? Because I let my true colors shine. So yeah, I was the same as these two.
Mhm.
But also kind of excited because I was like, oh, like I can learn a lot. And that's the other thing, isn't it, with networking? Like you learn from each other as well.
You do.
Flemma, I will give you, like, you are probably one of the greatest at learning from people. You pick up on tiny things that other people do all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah, you're very
Like
adaptable.
what? I'm curious now. What do you mean?
Just things that other people do, you're like, oh, I like that, and you like change what they do and use it for yourself.
That's a good thing.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I didn't know I did that, but
Yeah.
maybe I do it without even realizing. I don't know.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a very wise thing to do. That's how you grow. That's honestly how you grow. I do it, and everybody does it that cares about their growth. Is you have to take something that somebody does and kind of twist it and make it your own, and then you're all succeeding. But another thing to look at, guys, is lose the fear too. So I've read many books where a lot of, I would say, actionable items would be to reach out to very, very powerful people that were in your field or interested in what you're doing, and you might get 99 ignored messages or 99 no's, but just the one person that comes through that could develop a relationship with you is going to be huge for you. So something I did was, when I started, as soon as I started, I reached out to some bigger names just to say, hey, could you critique my work? Could you tell me what I'm doing that maybe you would change or you would alter? And I actually got, without naming them, I got a really big content creator who's the son of an actor that was in some movies. But what I would say is that he actually gave me a little shout out after he liked what I was doing, and they gave me some pointers that really helped my growth. And that would have never happened if I was just saying, no, they're never going to talk to me. They're too big. So lose the fear and reach out. Make sure you offer value to the people that you're trying to network with, because if you give help to others and you're the type of person that wants to see people succeed, then people will want to network with you. So you build your reputation because it's your brand. Your reputation is your brand. If you keep that reputation high, even if you're like, you develop a persona on stream where you're kind of a dick or you're lewd with your jokes, but you know, your real persona is kind, caring, humbling, and offering help to others, you're gonna go very far. Now another question I had for you guys is, I've encountered people that have reached out to me that were both on both sides. I've had people that have reached out that have been genuine, and they've offered a mutual friendship, and they've learned from me, I've learned from them. I've also encountered people that have just asked me, hey, would you come to my stream and shout me out? Would you, donate to me? Would you give me subs? Like, I'll pay you back later. That's the do's and don'ts. Have you guys encountered people trying to use you for networking? No, I see two heads shaking. Flemma, how about you?
I mean, I wouldn't say use me, but I've definitely had people contact me being like, oh, can you follow my YouTube or
Yeah.
do follow for follow? Which please never, ever, ever, ever do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many streamers where they've got big numbers and yet, say they've got like 1,000 followers and then they've got like 2 people watching and you're like, something's not right. Something's not right here. If they had that many followers, you think they'd have. I'd say at least 10, right? Like it's somewhat decent. So and it just, because the whole big numbers thing doesn't help you out at all.
Yeah.
Like it's, if it's fake as well. So
It's about
and then it's
concurrent
kind of going,
viewers.
yeah, exactly. I'd rather have more viewers and less followers, 100%, because those
100%.
people actually want to be there rather than just be there for the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely true. Nobody cares about the follower numbers. They care about what's going on. I would agree.
I was just gonna say, just like this is just like the whole. By the way, networking, reaching out to people. I haven't done this necessarily in streaming, but I have done it in real life. Like looking for jobs and stuff, and it works because it shows that you care, and people then want to help you out.
It
But
does.
I won't go too much into it because it's not related to streaming. But I got a job from it. I reached out to someone. And I was like, I'm interested in this. I got a job offer from it. So networking, so important. You never know if you reach out to people. So
Yeah, that's how most jobs come about, to be honest with you. Good jobs, anyway. That's how I got my start with logistics and, GE, and then to marketing and GM. So, and Ford. That's exactly how it happened, networking. But I would say, when you actually do find certain people or groups that you want to network it with, everyone's human, including big names. So be, like I said before, be a human, be genuine and humble, be kind, and listen. Don't ask for favors, but for advice, and build trust. When you build trust, then later you're going to reciprocate with each other. And it's almost like a natural scratch your back situation, because A, they like your content, they like your person, you like them, and it's a kinship. And be yourself. So don't get caught up in a faux persona. It's not like a one-off business dealing. It's a relationship. So people will catch on very quickly if you're a fake person. I have cut many ties with people in the past that have shown their true colors to be much more devious than what they let on. And it's really easy to start sniffing out fake relationships as you go on by seeing them. So obviously, negatives help you. And you need to keep the relationship going. So involve yourself with people and, check in, make sure that you're keeping up with those specific people, and you're going to see it grow to fruition. Because networking is literally about making friends who have similar interests and goals, and it's more powerful together. And that's how you guys grow. Would you guys say, in terms of interacting, did I maybe miss anything? Do you have any other advice for how to showcase yourself?
Honestly, my main thing with networking is you can't wait for people to come to you.
Right.
Which you said earlier, basically, by shoot your shot. But like with Discord, people don't talk in Discord unless they're directly talked to. That's not how you network. You have to start the conversation if you want to actually network. Like, it's not always gonna just come to you.
Also, choose what you say. Don't just be like, "Hey, how are you? How's your day?" Generic.
Great.
Get a little bit more on a personal level.
And like show that you actually care as well. I've seen so many people that just like, oh, I was doing this, I was doing that, and that's great. But like, you're there to talk to other people as well, not just talk about yourself. Like, actually show an interest in other people. Don't just be like, this is me,
Exactly.
like, look what I've got. Like, great. That's, like, I don't come into Discord to like, talk about me. If someone asks, obviously I'll tell them.
Yeah.
But I'm there to talk to other people and what's going on in their lives.
It's like one big
Something
date.
interesting going on in my life.
Yeah, it's true. You got to make sure that you're showing the initiative and the interest in other people's lives, and that's how people feel that you're a genuine human being. That you have benevolence in yourself instead of just, I would say, selfishness. And I think you all agree with that. You're all extremely good at it, regardless of the types of content that you put out. We're all different with that, but I would say that we're all very good with networking, and I'm very proud of that. Another thing is that just a couple side notes with networking. And like I said before, it's not the end all be all. You still have to focus on your content too, and diversify yourself. I'm kind of in different types of facets when it comes to content creation, and I have networks in all different areas. I'm interested in voice work. I have voice acting networks that I am friends with, that I talk to, and I have horror genre friends that I talk to, and these friends and those friends. Do you guys see yourself building different types of networks that either branch from each other or just completely separate?
I wouldn't say any of mine are completely separate because most of mine stem from like gaming and content creation. So mine's more of a condensed thing that spreads out into different types of games, like a little web.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I mean, sometimes it's going to be extremely diverse, and other times it's going to be kind of within one sole topic that might create a little web.
Yeah. And don't pretty much latch yourself to the idea of one, because there's never really going to be one specific genre that you're going to all get along with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't count. I would say, yeah, like in a way of what Foop said, is don't put all of your eggs in one basket too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Analogous. Great. Have you guys ever experienced somebody that? Then a question that came in that I wanted to ask as a side note was, it's inevitable to realize that some people will leave or will be bad for you. You could start a network with somebody that, for example, might be in your genre, in your wheelhouse, but they turn out to be maybe a toxic person. And it's okay to cut ties.
Yeah.
It could hurt your brand and your reputation. So think about that first, too. It's not a selfish way of thinking, it's an intelligent way of thinking, because if you're going to allow yourself to be pushed down a path that could hurt your brand, then it's all over. So make sure you keep that in your mind, that some people, it's okay to cut your ties and move on if they're bad for you. Have you guys experienced that ever? I have. I mean, I think most people do. And I see Creepy nodding. Creepy, could you give us like without naming names, obviously, could you give us an example? Unless you want to name
The
names.
friend. No, I'm not going to name names, but I don't want that type of drama.
Bill Clinton.
The very friend that I stated that introduced me to the first Discord community,
Yeah.
I'm no longer friends with because it was toxic, and that person was toxic and was only in it for themselves.
So can you give us like, what were they doing? Just like, do this for me, do that for me, but I don't give a shit about you, kind of toxic?
Like they were in it for themselves. As soon as they saw that their numbers were going down or something in their own stream, they started to be less active and friendly.
Okay. So they took it out on others. Instead of building a relationship, they decided to destroy it. out of anger. So that's another thing. You can't let yourself be pulled down into that black hole, because then you become toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Hoops Dilemma, have you encountered that? Anybody that you had to cut ties from?
Yeah, but to be honest, I'd prefer to not talk about that because I don't know how I would talk about it.
I kind of want to push it because it's going to get so many interactions with us, but I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to push it. I want to. I love anecdotes.
Possibly come back to me in a bit.
Flemma, how about
'Cause I-
you?
Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. I
Bless
haven't
you.
had I haven't had anything that's necessarily toxic. Like it's not like, oh, I cut ties with them because they were like horrible or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just a case of this person doesn't really give a crap about me. They're just in it for themselves. Because you can be so supportive of someone and then you're just another number to them. So like, but it wasn't that. I say there's nothing horrible. It was just like I was like, this person doesn't care about anyone else really but themselves. So that's fine. If that's how they want to do their thing, then then that's fine. But I'm not gonna keep networking and trying to be friends with someone who doesn't really care about me. So like I said, it wasn't anything devious, anything wrong, like nasty. They just didn't care.
Right.
No, they showed their true colors
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, people will do that. And that goes for business relationships too. And it could be anything. It could be a sponsor, it could be brands. If it's not working for your reputation, if it's not working for your personal growth, then maybe the relationship isn't worth it. Don't fall into the trap where you feel that just because somebody's either on your level or bigger, that you have to be in a relationship with them. You don't have to network with everybody. So, keep a lookout for your circle of, close confidants and their reputation and your reputation, and consider that the first line of protection. Don't let that be penetrated at all. And in the same vein, some people are available less, but still considered a friend in your network. So don't consider toxic behavior somebody that's maybe not as active. They might be extremely busy, but they still might be there for you in terms of other ways, like giving you advice or always dropping at the drop of a hat, always coming along to help you, maybe with building up new emotes or coming up with new sound ideas um or sub perks. There's many different ways people could be of help to each other. And always look for those nuances. It's like muscle memory too, because for example, like let's say if you lift a lot and then bam, you stop lifting, maybe you get a little bit of degradation, it comes back a lot faster. It imprints. Same thing with relationships. You build a relationship and then you guys are not talking as much, you come back, it's going to come back a lot easier than it was from the start. That's something to remember. Closing thoughts is I would say look at networking in a way of building relationships and friendships with like-minded individuals within your content spectrum in a way for both of you to grow or multiples to grow. And don't ever look at it in a selfish light. Be willing to give and be willing to listen. Always listen. Before I go on to Creepy and Flemma about closing thoughts, Foops, any chance I can get you to tell your story?
It's okay. So mine isn't more. It isn't really toxicity like Flemma's.
Yeah.
Like it was a friend that over time started to completely change everything about themselves and just kind of pushed me and others away from them and started to just focus only on one thing and one thing only, which is themselves, their content, which isn't really a bad thing, but at the same time it is. It's just I don't know. I don't know how to exactly explain it correctly.
I think I know where you're going.
They just they changed everything about them and just became kind of disingenuous in a way.
Okay, that makes sense. Almost like they evolved or devolved in a way of a network persona, so they weren't, maybe they were just in it for themselves for many different ways.
Yeah.
Understandable. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of people definitely experience that, and then that's, I think, where a lot of people grow and learn. Oh, I've seen these traits before. I've been scorned. This isn't good for me. And with failure comes success. So I appreciate you sharing it. I do. And now you're in a wheelhouse where everybody loves Fupi.
I'll give you an example as well.
Yes,
So I used to play a lot of Euro Truck Simulator a lot,
I
and
know.
that's where my main base of networking was. I started playing games with a certain group, and one particular person in the group started streaming around the same time I was, like
Hmm.
starting to stream. Um, my channel was growing faster than theirs was, generally because of the not the quality that I was giving, but more so the technical quality, the picture, the audio, everything else. And they would stream every time I streamed because we were playing the same game and we were playing together. There was a couple of moments where I would get raided by sort of larger Euro Truck streamers, maybe with 50 or 60 people at the time.
Yeah.
And the immediate answer was when I said, "Oh, thank you so much for the raid of 60, blah, blah, blah," whatever the name was. That person would then go, "Oh, no, don't go to him. Come over to me live." And if you're supposed to be a friend and, use that as your networking, that is really not the way to go about it.
It's horrible. That's extremely toxic.
That's
Yeah.
just another
Yeah, of course.
example.
That's not being a friend. Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for sharing that, because that's a good point too. If you see
That's
somebody
awful.
strike like a viper out of nowhere, you
Yeah.
instantly know to cut that head off that snake. Go Chamber of Secrets with the Sword of Gryffindor on that motherfucker. Because on that instance, they don't care about you at all. They only care about themselves. You should be supportive of your colleagues and friends. If people see you as the supportive type, you are so much more looked at in a good light. If I rated somebody and somebody else said you should come to me instead, I would never rate them, ever.
No.
So
Ever.
don't do that. Don't act like that selfish, cocky person, because you're gonna be shown as like that guy or that girl where it's like, I'm not ever gonna interact with you. I'm never gonna help you. You just show me who you were.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because normally when you're streaming with other streamers as part of a networking effort, like co-streaming or whatever you want to call it, normally if somebody was to get a raid like that, it'd be up to me then to go, "Oh, by the way, guys, I'm playing with such and such. Maybe you should check out their content as well. They're playing with me right now." But yeah, to completely just like come in and hijack and be like, "Hey, leave his channel and come to mine right now," is completely, that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah, it's how you
Okay.
destroy relationships.
I'd be so
Yeah.
mad. I don't know if
Oh,
you ever
I
stay
was
calm.
livid shortly
Inside, where you're
after I
like,
cut
oh my, you're
ties.
supposed to be supportive. I'll be over like the moon. Like we have lots of people in this community who do co-streams, you know, and I've never, like, for example, like Baron and Creaso and Sig, obviously they do a lot of streams together. I've never been in one of their streams and said like I've raided one of them, and the other one's like, oh, why didn't you come to me? Because
Yep.
they're friends. They'd be happy for one another. They're like
Yeah.
supportive of one another. Oh man, I'd be so mad. Sorry, that really that triggered me.
But that's the difference though, depending on. It's also a good lesson too to choose the better path of how you network as well, because within Elite we're very close knit and we're good friends. You would think we were all good friends anyway, and then that wouldn't happen. It's kind of as well, like the way I went down. This guy was just a guy who played a game that I played, and there was kind of a connection there where we play together, but it's almost like it's just a multiplayer game. That's where the connection finishes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just playing a game together. Where at least with the elite, you can build up a more of a foundation of a relationship with people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's why it doesn't happen with us because of that, and we're not shitty people.
We like each other.
Right, honestly, most like everyone in the elite that I've talked to is genuinely a good person.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it comes down to that because even if I didn't like somebody, I wouldn't do something to hurt their brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, even if
Exactly.
that's just being a good person. Especially if you consider somebody a friend, you would never do that. But anybody in general, just be a good person. Okay, people are gonna flock to you like honey. Be a good
Just
person.
don't be a
Just don't be a dick. Hey,
Don't be a dick,
Hey.
guys.
hot take, bye bye.
Hey.
Awesome, guys. Well, I think on that note, we're gonna wrap things up. I just wanted to extend a big thank you to Flemma Creepy and Foops. This is Foops' first podcast, and I really appreciate him being here. Hopefully, we'll see him again down the line, guys. And always have an amazing rest of your week.
Can I quickly say one thing?
Yes.
Sorry. I was only going to say, I didn't know when to bring it up. If you're starting out as a streamer, I've seen so many people that go, right, I need to have a really good computer, graphics card, all my equipment needs to look, I have the best overlays, the best graphics and stuff. You can have all of that. But if you do not network and you do not make friends, I highly doubt you'll do well.
Right.
If you're starting out, that's one of my errors, right? I didn't network at the beginning and I didn't grow. It was only when I started to network and I started to make friends that I actually grew as a channel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're starting out, don't get me wrong, like get all your equipment and stuff and make it look pretty, but just network because you will grow so much quicker than if you don't.
And you'll learn.
Yeah, and you'll learn from
100%.
other people. Exactly.
That's extremely smart, and that's, I would say, one of the best points in the world to end on. Thank you. Very good. Once again, guys, a big thank you to everybody. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.